Broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
All hands man, get battle station.
Tom Trento heads United West, a group that says it defends Western civilization against the onslaught of Islam.
And we defend Western civilization not only against the onslaught of militant Islam, of Sharia compliant of Islam as a system. Not only do we defend Western civilization, thus our name, the United West, but we also defend Western civilization against President Obama. What is this guy doing? You know, he was going to go shake hands with the president of Iran, but he avoided that because the president of Iran's people told him, we don't want you shaking hands with that guy. So what does our president do here on the 26th of September, 2013 at, let me do the math in my head, a couple of minutes after 5 o'clock. We'll do it that way. He yesterday sends the weird looking, is John Kerry, Secretary of State, is he looking weird these days? It looks like he and his wife are doing all that cosmetic stuff to stay young and svelte. That's fine. You know, they should go retire on their boat in Delaware, wherever their boat is licensed, because it ain't in Massachusetts. He wanted to save some taxes. Interesting. They're worth about $1 billion, the two of them. So we deal with these issues too, folks. The policies of President Obama, they're not even center-left. These are doctrinaire Marxist policies. We're about to be overrun with a health care system. We have the best health care system in the world. Every nitwit dictator and potentate and president from around the world that needed serious medical attention found their way to the United States of America. So what do? We throw the whole thing out and overhaul instead of, it's like having a one-year-old car that has a couple of dents in it. You go, why don't we fix the dents? Why don't we repair the areas in our medical system that need repairing? No. Throw the whole damn car out. Let's build a car from scratch. And this car is bloated, going to be full of fraud, extreme costs all over the place. And the people that built it don't want to ride in it. They go, we ain't riding in that car. You know, we're not signing up for Obamacare. So we deal with those issues too. But at the forefront of our work is national security. And as many of you remember, this past 9/11, September 11th, the day of infamy, a second day of infamy in the United States, where we had the first Islamic attack on the homeland. I was one of the speakers at a very unique memorial service, very unique location. And I've been to many of these places in the United States, but in Venice, Florida, at Patriots Park, there is a relatively small, as some of these monuments and memorials go, monument dedicated to those who have died since 9/11, particularly those who have given their life from the state of Florida. But the symbolism of this black granite, and I think we're going to have some pictures for you in a minute, with one of the I-beams from the North Tower, is just very moving, extremely moving. In the middle of this tony little town, there's the granite right on the screen right now, little resort town on the west coast of Florida, between Naples to the south and Sarasota to the north. Spoke there, and I was speaking essentially on the cause of 9/11 because we had the effect of 9/11, the memorial service in and of itself right there. And I made the outrageous statement that the cause of 9/11 was Islam. And I went on to define, as we do all the time, as many national security analysts do, Islam is a system that is primarily a political system, and it has a religious veneer, its political system is infused with a theology. And I laid that out. But because I said the enemy is Islam, corks popped in the heads of some politicians and news people, and a brouhaha occurred as a result. Well, today, folks, for just a few minutes, because he's got to get on to a very important veterans meeting, today we have the center. We have the real culprit, the guy who for 3 years, at his own expense, he and his wife and some friends helped a little bit, he went from 0 to 100 in getting an idea, construct it, getting this monument built, and putting on the map the city of Venice, a place that has a little bit of a negative history as it relates to the terrorists. We have the culprit right here, Skyped in live, Gene Sweeney. Hello, welcome to TrentoVision.
Hey, Gene, how you doing?
You are our hero on the west coast of Florida. How are you today, Gene?
I'm great, brother Tom, and thanks to your crew behind you that folks can't see, that I had the great pleasure of interacting and working with, and made it all possible. But it's been a bit of painstaking, to be honest. Attacks, needless to say, something that you're familiar with, and I, in my career, in different values of propositions that I've been involved in, have not been without heat. But this is over the top, to the extent where the 9/11 diatribe has been now identified was a case of abusing freedom of speech. Can you get that?
Yeah, that is amazing. And, I know we only have you for a few moments, but we need to pick up on that theme. But let me ask you, first of all, I mean, we're on the front lines, the United West. We've been doing this for many years. We live on the edge of the buzzsaw. You are a highly respected veteran, highly respected business person, highly respected citizen in Sarasota County. You blood, sweat, and tears built this monument, and then folks you thought were your friends threw you under the bus. How did that feel? How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fine today. It was a bit of an emotional roller coaster from the standpoint of, wow, talk about being blindsided, as they say they were at the Patriots Park Memorial ceremony, where they, the collective they, if you will, thought it was inappropriate for me, for you, and other speakers who made statements regarding the cause, but were only involved with the emotional, as it were, a funeral of the affect, as you clearly defined, and could care less about a religion that has been hijacked by an ideology which you so very clearly explained, but again, deaf to the listening ear, as one of our speakers, retired Navy SEAL Captain Norman Olson, said, they just refuse to understand or believe, if you will, what was being said, rather than let's ride this emotional roller coaster. And it's come from all different sides. The organization which I started, saltoftheearthusa.org, both from some politicians and also from individuals that belong to a veterans organization as well, has called for individuals to stop donating to Salt of the Earth, whereby with those funds in any amount, what we do is engrave the names of our fallen heroes who have been killed on the war on terrorism since the attacks of 9/11.
Hang on one second, Gene. Hey guys, can we put up the monument, that picture you had before? Gene, we have up on the screen right now the granite, the bottom with the names engraved, and then the I-beam coming out. We have the whole picture there. Now, what
Okay.
you're saying is the donations and if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Okay, they can do it two ways. One, I'm always amenable to a phone call, which my cell is 770-330-7683.
Okay.
Our website is, of course, www.saltoftheearthusa.org.
Beautiful. We have that up on the screen right
And
now.
our Facebook page is Salt of the Earth USA LLC.
Perfect. Now, we have the monument up. We're putting the monument up for our viewers at home watching on the internet or their smart devices. For those of you listening on the radio, WNN 1470. It's about 12 minutes after 5 p.m. in the afternoon on the 26th of September, Thursday, folks, almost Friday. We've got a beautiful picture, Gene, of the granite base with the seal trident. We have that view with the explanation of what this is. What you're saying is the work you've done and the money you raise now goes to engrave, and I think it's like $150 or so to engrave a name of those who gave their all to fight Islamic Jihad. And literally people in Sarasota County and Venice are telling other people, don't give Sweeney any money so he can honor those who gave their all in this war against Muslim jihadis. Is that really what's happening?
Yes, that has been circulating. Also, please know that this is unique in itself, the memorial, because as far as I know, and I try to check this out because things change weekly, this memorial is the only memorial of its type. Now, please, viewers and listeners, understand I am not saying it's the only 9/11 memorial in the country, nor am I saying it is the only military memorial in the country. It is unique in the sense that it combines the names of civilians who, oh, by the way, there were parents of civilians who have been speakers. One was there last week or on 9/11 and previously, and others have been there as well who were both parents of civilians who were killed in the North and South Tower. Also names of first responders, FDNY, 343. We don't have 343 FDNY names on the wall. We have some. We also have NYPD, New York, New Jersey Port Authority, and a few names of individuals who were passengers on the 4 flights to American and to United. This is not just for Floridians. However, because it's in Florida, we have gone ahead and we have engraved 342 Floridian servicemen and women who have been killed in the war on terrorism. Every Marine, up until about 3 weeks ago. So we have lost a few, which will eventually, and we're working on putting a list together of additional names of which we hope to get engraved by Veterans Day, November 11, 2013. We cannot do it one name at a time for the obvious reasons. The Pinter brothers, Tom Pinter, who is a wonderful young business guy, he has stepped up to the plate and has worked with us enormously. He also has the contract for Sarasota National and also for Bay Pines Memorial Cemetery, and they are the engravers.
Beautiful.
Freedom isn't free, and it obviously costs money, but they've been incredibly responsive, and part of their donation is to work with us on covering the cost and their expenses. And then again, there is the maintenance of making sure that the memorial is cleaned, pressure washed, and it's a one-time charge of a name of $150, and that is in perpetuity. That memorial has been gifted to the city of Venice, and it was done without a single penny of taxpayer dollars. The Gulf Coast Community Gives Foundation matched the monies that we raised, and had it not been for the wonderful folks at the Gulf Coast Community Foundation in Venice who helped us raise the matching dollars, this memorial would still be in the works. It has taken...
It is an amazing memorial, and we're going to have to let you go here in a second.
Okay.
But the bottom line, folks, at about 16 minutes after 5 o'clock on the 26th, Thursday, September 26 and 11, 15 days ago, our special guest today, Gene Sweeney, held a beautiful, beautiful memorial service. And when we say memorial, that doesn't mean we blank out of our mind what the heck happened to get us to this memorial part. And all Gene and myself and a couple of others did was to address the cause of the memorial. Gene had 500-600 people, just pure patriots at this event. And Gene ordered, ladies and gentlemen, right on the 10 o'clock moment, Gene ordered, I was standing at the podium and I hear, Damon, it was you, right?
Yep.
Oh my word, look at that. And right above the park, an American bald eagle starts flying circles just about as we're to start. And everybody looks up and says, ah. And Gene says, what? That happened last year also, huh?
Well, I was accused, believe it or not, and it's been written in the media, whatever, that Gene Sweeney, a.k.a. Elmer Gantry, was absolutely on demand, called for the flight of an American bald eagle. You know it is against the law to own a bald eagle, let alone a feather. Okay.
Well, I got a question. So, all right, for
where
all
the
those,
heck it come from? You know.
I mean, you have.
Tom still didn't believe it for the rest of the day.
I think somebody let that thing loose, man. That was just too coincidental.
It looks too coincidental. And if I'm being the skeptic that I am, I'd say, Gene, you had to have something to do with that. And you're categorically stating that is not the case.
Absolutely not. And don't forget, understand where Patriots Park. It is on Legacy Trail, which is a beautiful trail that runs all the way from Sarasota, Florida, with more than 14 stopping points on this Legacy Trail, which goes across protected wetlands. Okay. So go figure, it is the home of birds and wildlife. And why not bald eagles? They have them right here.
Gene, I'm not yet convinced. I'm not yet convinced. You're not really selling it.
Tom had a debate with an atheist later in the week, and I told him that
hold on.
Your
I'm not buying the bald eagle thing. I still think you had. Hold on. I still think Gene had something to do with it. But is that bald eagle claiming? Does he live in Patriots Park, or he flew in from some wetland, or God sent him down? What are you claiming that the bald eagle came from?
The wetland. The Legacy Trail runs right through Patriots Park.
So it's
well. Let's go the other way around. We got to wrap his segment up because he's got to go. Let's go the other way around. Let's say he was behind this. How do you get a bald eagle to fly exactly at the right time and run circles around it?
He's obviously has a cage somewhere right now. Yeah, he's in possession of a bald eagle.
He's an American Indian, so obviously my contacts with the Seminole tribe of Florida, who was hiding in the wetlands of Patriots Park, and on demand.
You called him up.
This is the power that I have.
Okay. On that note, we bow to you.
We bow to your Native American heritage skills that we have no.
And we bow to your patriotism. Right. Stand tall over there when you're on the right side, as we are. People will eventually come, and those who won't come. Yeah. But that's what leadership is. And
say hi to Shelby for me too. I know we're
right. I will. And by the way, it could not have been orchestrated if we planned a simulcast to what we were saying and doing from 10 a.m. to exactly 22 seconds before noon, which was 120 minutes of the program, that our good friends Pam Geller at Ground Zero in New York City was saying and doing the exact same verbiage. And oh, by the way, Ashraf Ramilia was speaking, who is a Coptic Christian, an Egyptian. And you know things are right when this week, just the other day, the liberal pundit Bob Beckel said, American Muslims, you're cowards, stand up or get out of the USA.
Bob Beckel, yep. This is tough stuff. We understand it, but we are a country at war. And,
Yes,
we're a Muslim, and we have gone on record as saying this, chooses to assimilate into the United States and adopt the contract that we all have, the U.S. Constitution. We are with them 1,000%. Where they don't, where they repudiate the United States and the Constitution, which the Muslim Brotherhood and many of its followers and entities do, they become ideological enemies. And we fight with our brains in this theater. Other theaters, fighting is taking place with weapons, trying to avoid that. But Mark's got a final thought, then we got to let you go. He's got to get
I have one final point.
Well, let Mark go, then you go, Gene. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What this whole brouhaha boiled down to would be like on December 7th every year. And you cannot talk about anything about the Japanese airplanes, the Japanese sub-attacks, the Japanese, killing
ideology. You can't talk about
any of that.
Yeah,
you can't talk about any of that. All you have to do is just, remember the people on Nevada.
Yep.
Well, you know what's strange? We're starting to think way too much alike. That's exactly where I was going to go with it. And one other thing, relative to that point about December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy, was that we, American people, and our government rounded up American Japanese who never even lived in Japan,
right,
and we put them in internment camps. Imagine if today the likelihood of taking individuals from their businesses, their homes, and elsewhere who are of Muslim belief and putting them in internment camps. We did that after December 7th, 1941, and talk about political correctness.
Today, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's an issue we got to deal with, and obviously we are not advocating that by any means,
right,
but we're also not advocating to have a blind eye to Islamic Jihad that's going on in mosques all over the place. So this is an ongoing issue. Gene, will you come back on the show in a couple of weeks and give us another update?
Always. We're there together. And again, as I added the other day, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
Amen. We'll see you now.
The truth will prevail, Gene.
Thank you, Gene. Gene Sweeney.
Hey, God bless, guys.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Gene Sweeney.
What a great team.
Thank you. We do have a great team. Gene Sweeney, folks, we're going to say goodbye to him right now. And if you want to contact Gene, saltoftheearthusa.org, saltoftheearthusa.org. Ongoing story. As a result of the controversy that was generated by myself, Gene, and a couple of others, I have been invited back. I'll be back over there on November 5th in the Sarasota area and November 19th right in Venice, the town right next to it, doing an expanded explanation and analysis of the Islamic threat doctrine, what it means, and how elected officials and the media ought to understand and respond. Okay, yes, Gene, we're kind of used to getting beat up.
Yes.
Except we punch back. Gene is just, he's a retired
I tell you what,
military.
He absolutely surprised me. I would have to say, out of 99 out of 100 people who were in Gene's situation would immediately start caving, backpedaling, saying, no, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to defend anybody.
Tom Trento will never be here again.
He'll never be here again. And
you mean like the mayor?
Yeah, like the mayor did, right?
Well, the mayor, listen to this. The Mayor Hochul, or whatever his name is.
Mayor Holcomb, or whatever his name is.
Hollick.
Okay. That's
Hokum.
Hollick.
I like Hokum better.
Yeah.
Mayor Hollick went to the county commission, Sarasota County Commission. Now, understand, folks, Venice, Florida is like 20,000 people, but 4 of the jihadis went to the Hayward, I believe it was Hayward Flight Academy. Mohammed Atta was among them, and they learned how to fly commercial airlines through earning a private pilot's license and then time in the simulator. And they launched their flight career, which ended in New York, in Venice. This is one of the reasons why Gene wanted to put a memorial there to help clean up the infamous legacy of the town of Venice. The mayor, after being offended by what I said, went to the county commission of Sarasota. Venice is a city within the county of Sarasota, and he requested a new policy in public parks that every public speaker who's going to speak in a county commission, in a county park in Sarasota County, there's the mayor on the screen right now, every speaker's speech has to be vetted, filtered, and approved by the county commission. The mail is being delivered. The mail is being delivered.
All right, so back up. He wants to vet public speakers in a public park.
Their speeches, yes.
Their speeches.
Yes.
Is there like a little
approve? He wants to approve
them.
He wants the county to approve.
All right,
them.
so we have the county government wanting to approve a speech freely said in a park before it is said.
Yes. Yes.
Is there like a little First Amendment thing there or something like
Apparently
that?
not for Sarasota County, but we'll see if they go ahead with that. Because if they do,
that's insane.
As long as we approve of it.
Yeah, you can say anything you want as long as the government approves of it.
You can say anything you want as long as I do not find offensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
good.
craziness, Tom.
Hey, we're in a fight. What can I tell you? And one of the reasons for this fight
is this guy a Democrat or Republican?
I don't know. Whatever he is, he's not a very good constitutional.
Well, he could be either. He could be
either.
either one of them. The way they've been acting lately.
I think they're pretty conservative over there, but I have no idea if he's a Republican.
But he came to our event after our show and congratulated you, told you what a great job you did, what a great speech you gave about how
called a hypocrite.
He's a politician, and then when he went home and started putting his finger out and seeing which way the wind was blowing.
And then I guess our friend, not Stacy, what's her name? Shelby got a hold of him.
Shelby Webb,
because you really have to have the support of the 22-year-old reporters of the local paper, because those people have so much experience and knowledge about world issues and Islamic doctrine and everything like that, because they're spot on.
But here's what I got for you now. Well, that's a developing story, a continuing story, folks. We will keep you abreast of all of that, because we're going back over there after we get back from our little trip. And right now, we'd like to tell you about our little trip at 9:30, 29, about 29 minutes. I have a broken clock, okay? I'm trying to do some math here. 29 minutes after 5 o'clock, WNN 1470. That's our radio station broadcasting out of Boca Raton, Florida. Our TV, the stuff you're looking at on the internet, some folks are running from their computer and HDMI wire or any kind of wire to their 70-inch big screen TVs and watching us on the big screen.
Yes,
TV.
they are.
It's got to be
We
scary.
know that's happening.
That's
and also, you pull up on Roku and all kinds of stuff.
Roku, you can get us on Roku. Yeah. We're negotiating with some others about distribution in other ways. We're going to be expanding our documentary division to make these short, powerful documentaries and maybe longer ones.
Right.
Because we don't have any material to.
There's not enough to talk about.
But we do operate
There's
on.
nothing to see here, folks.
There's nothing to see here. We do operate on donations. So if you'd be so kind, as we're getting toward the end of the year, and you see the stock market's doing well, and you're going, you know what, I need to donate to a good cause. We're the good cause. Go to theunitedwest.org. And you can donate securely, and it is tax deductible. If you donate $1, you can deduct that dollar from your total income and pay less taxes to the government. So where do you want your money to go? To the IRS, who's scamming everybody in the world, or to us, who's fighting the jihadis to keep you safe? Figure that one out.
And just let your donors know, your donations go directly to supporting the broadcast, our efforts, our activities. Nobody here takes a salary. Nobody here takes any money from
No,
you.
but our 230-foot yacht
Yes,
does take a little
our
maintenance.
TOW jet needs fuel.
Those things take a little maintenance.
Yes, it
once in a
does.
while. So,
Yes, it does.
all right, and the kind of stuff we do literally on pennies is to go to the front lines. And today's Thursday, the 26th, about 5:30 or so right now in the afternoon. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days, 72 hours from now, Mark and I will be on an airplane crossing the big Atlantic Ocean and landing in TA. Anybody know what TA is?
Tel Aviv Airport.
Ben Gurion Airport, Tel Aviv, Israel. We're on our way once again. We went last year. And we're going to show you some videos from last year and kind of give you a feel. The one I want to get, the main one, is the attack on Mount of Olives. If we have that one queued up for a moment. Okay. We're going to show you this very interesting video. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about our trip last year and then why we're going again this year. And we're going to give you a feel for this. See, in a geopolitical sense, Israel, and more specifically Jerusalem, geopolitically right now, is the center of the universe. And the reason being, if you had to ask people, what is the major global threat to the world right now, and you ask people in Seattle, they'd probably say the United States of America, or New York, they'd probably say that. Oh, the world threat is the United States. But if you ask a serious person, what is the significant threat to the globe right now? And they would say Islamic extremism. They would avoid saying Islam or militant Islam. They would say terrorist extremism, which is a coward's way of identifying the enemy. But without question, the most significant threat to the world right now is the Islamic Jihad that is in motion. And notwithstanding President Obama's misunderstanding of the threat doctrine of Islam, Al-Qaeda is not decimated. They're not on the run. They're developing in 16 different theaters right now. 16 different theaters. When all of this stuff started with Obama in Afghanistan, they were in 8 theaters. They've now expanded because they are fearless in the face of President Obama's doctrine to destroy the enemy. And if you think destroying the enemy is launching a couple of drones to kill a couple of leaders here or there, that's an inefficient way of defeating a systemic ideology that infests itself in a band of holy fighters in theaters all around the world. And for whatever reasons, and it's looking more and more and more each day that President Obama is siding with the Islamic world. I mean, if you just had to fall off another planet, come here and look at the policy making and the behavior of this president and said, is he more for Islam, America, Israel, or Europe? If you had to look at that and not look at, him going to 4th of July barbecues in America and kissing babies, but in terms of his policies, in terms of his worldview, in terms of what he's implementing, you'd have to say, well, he seems to like America. This is to an uninformed person. But his policies really are favoring the Islamic world. You've got this phenomenal Shia threat coming out of Iran, and for 5 years, they have been playing him like a cheap fiddle, and he doesn't even know how to address them. You have Iraq, where he took the advances President Bush made. You have that queued up? If you could play this little section here, it underscores the point I'm making. It's the video. It's at 13 minutes. We're going to show you a little bit of video to underscore the point I'm making here. You go to Iraq, and George Bush, notwithstanding mistakes he made, he had advancements in defeating the enemy there, assisting the Iraqis in defeating the enemy, and then establishing a significant base of operation for Americans in Iraq, which strategically worldwide was a jewel on the top of jewels. It was the cornerstone of a military foreign policy to have a significant presence in Iraq, in the center, right next door to Iran and close by to Israel. But no, he blew out of there and essentially left a couple of people there, scrubbing floors. So he lost the war in Iraq, President Obama, and favored the Shia, which is really bizarre, the Shia government there of al-Maliki. Go over to Afghanistan, and you got a situation there where we had an initial surge. The surge was working. Surge wasn't his doing. Surge was working. And then he starts pulling everything back, calibrating back, and having this bizarre idea that we fight al-Qaeda, we're not fighting Islamic Jihad. Well, you weigh all this stuff, look at all of it, you'd have to say, okay, this president favors the Islamic world when it comes to geopolitics. Well, what is the Islamic world's ultimate objective geopolitically? And it is on its march to establishing a caliphate. Now, I am not pitching a cheap, low-budget B movie to a slimy Hollywood producer, as I explain over the next minute or so, the worldview of Islamic Jihad. The Islamic Jihadis, which are part of 1.3 billion Muslims in 56 countries, and every good Muslim is in agreement, the ultimate goal of Islam is to establish a caliphate, a world government dictated by Allah. Allah said this is necessary. They have to establish that. It used to be in Istanbul, Turkey, during the Ottoman Empire. That was accomplished through the second jihad. That fell in the 1920s, just during World War I. Now it needs to be reestablished. Now you establish the caliphate world government with Muslims in control of the world, then you're in a position to implement the law of Allah, Sharia. And it's not until Sharia is implemented worldwide till world peace and world order will be brought around through Islam. To get to that point, you must go through what they view as Al-Quds. What is Al-Quds, gentlemen? Jerusalem, right, Jerusalem. Jerusalem, this little thing right here, and this is why we have it on our desk. This is why we fight. This is this is a building. It's not a mosque. The mosque is, if you're looking at this, it's to the right of this in the holy city. This was built in 693, and it's the Golden Dome of the Rock. The building is over the rock that the temple, the Jewish temple, was built on. And when Muslims took over Israel and Jerusalem, they always take the significant location and building of worship for the religion they defeat and build one of their buildings over it. Oh, what does that say about 9/11 and building a mosque down in 51 Park right at ground zero? That's why we fought that. Well, this building is where the temple for the Jewish world needs to be built in order for their Messiah to come back. And so this little building stands at the nexus of which direction the world is going to go. And by all three eschatological systems, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, a war will be fought over this ground at some point in the future. And many of the Muslims are gearing up for that right now. That's why Jerusalem and Israel is so important. That's why we, doing the work we do, are going on Sunday to Israel. And I want to show you a little piece of video right now to underscore President Obama's, I don't know, what's the word? Love for? Inclination, affinity for.
A drooling love affair.
Drooling love affair for not just Islam, but the unique component of Islam, the Muslim Brotherhood. This is a 2012, not too many people have seen this. This is private video.
84 people have seen this.
84 people, okay. 84 people have seen this. This is private video that we got our hands on, and it's of an iftar dinner, I-F-T-A-R, which is the dinner that during Eid, during the holy month of Ramadan.
Big celebration.
Yes. Well, yeah, you you
Yeah.
do it all. What do you do during Ramadan? You fast all day.
We fast
right?
during
Fast
day,
all-
no eating, no drinking, no sexy.
No, hold on. Qualify that. You fast during the day and
we
you
party
pig
like
out and you
animal at
gain
night.
weight at night.
Okay, and that's
We
the
eat and
iftar
drink
dinner.
and get fat.
That's
What?
called the iftar dinner at night, right?
Well, the iftar is like the big one at the
The
end.
big one at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
Every
break
night
the
is
fast.
festive. Every night is like 30 nights of.
But there is the last night.
The last night, big,
the
big,
big celebration,
Big,
all
big,
that.
big, big.
So
It will
President.
be like your Easter dinner in comparison
Okay,
of
that makes
size and
sense.
importance.
So
Only
this
ours
is
is much more supreme than yours.
this is the iftar dinner 2012 at the White House, and we can't show all of this footage now. It's 10 or 12 minutes, but it's
My friend,
Muslims-
why even talk? Words cannot describe this.
Well, we're not going to show the part where they close. And I've been in the White House, and they close off one of the rooms, and they lay a mat down.
Oh, that's where I was going to start.
Oh, you are
Right
okay.
there.
Let's show it. Go ahead, roll it.
Roll it.
Here we go. Look at that.
We have audio?
This is the White House of the United States of America.
And they're all standing in line in the middle of the White House with a big tarp on the floor, all getting ready to do Muslim prayer inside the White House.
And no women. All the women
No,
are
there's no women.
behind them.
No women.
All right, now freeze that for a second. Now we come into the White House dining room, and this is very, very important.
Who's that on the left there, Tom?
Yeah, the camera person, who is a Muslim woman. I mean, she
Yes.
shot this, and
Yes.
I'm surprised it's even available.
Yeah,
But
really.
she sat at the table with the president, and we want to draw attention to two people. On the president's right, which is a seat of honor, and the president's left, another seat of honor, are two individuals. This is a beautiful shot. If you're driving in your cars at 42 minutes after 5 o'clock on the 26th of September, you need to go home, go to theunitedwest.com, theunitedwest.com. No, I'm sorry. youtube.com/theunitedwest. That's our archives. And watch this footage. And we'll go back to the still shot.
You know,
On the-
I am very surprised. I was not allowed to take my footage from this iftar dinner. I would have kept mine.
It's so surprising because the president whispers something to the second guest that we're going to see, and we're having that transcribed right now. But this shot here captures the president, and to his right, in the most significant seat of honor, who is that little lady?
Uma Abedin. Anthony
Mrs. Wiener.
Mrs. Wiener.
That's Mrs. Wiener. This is August 2012. Mrs. Wiener has a gigantic smile. She's sitting next to the president.
Now,
And
also
Look how fresh the orange juice looks.
also earlier during that same presentation, President Obama waxed eloquently about Uma Abedin and how wonderful she is, how wonderful she's done, how a key, vital, integral part inside the State Department she is with Hillary Clinton, and just waxed. Now, if you notice, this is a very, very special dinner, and a whole bunch of people line up to sit next to the right-hand side of the president. Now, we're talking all the major Muslim players. Who is sitting at the right hand of the president during the iftar dinner?
that would be the number one Muslim in America. It would
Yeah.
have to be.
Right.
And
That is questionable.
the number one Muslim in America is Uma Abedin. Now, there's a little bit of interesting historical context. This dinner, if you remember, was right after when Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann released in August of 2012 her letter to 5 inspector generals saying, I sit on the Select Intelligence Committee
In the DDR.
to make sure that the United States government is not infiltrated by foreign agents. That's one of the jobs of Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann. And she had 4 fellow Congress members sign that letter and sent it to several inspector generals saying, you need to look into some of these folks, and in particular, you need to look into the White House, and in particular, you need to look into the background of Uma Abedin, because we have documented evidence that her mother and father are significant, long-time leaders in what happy organization, folks?
The Muslim Brotherhood. And don't forget her brother, too.
And her brother. So her mother, her father, and her brother are
But
leading.
her father is deceased. But he
Yes.
was very big
He
then.
was very, very big. They are leading members in the Muslim Sisterhood, which is a very small select group of wives of Muslim Brotherhood
They are
leaders.
lucky to have anything.
And that she herself worked 8 years, she being Abedin, worked 8 years for a publication out of Saudi Arabia that simply promoted, extended, and honored the Muslim Brotherhood's activities worldwide. And we know, again, factually, the Muslim Brotherhood's agenda for defeating the United States militarily, if necessary, through some of their affiliates, but primarily through sedition. We're aware of this. We have all their documents. So Michelle Bachmann in August said to the Inspector Generals, you got to look into Abedin. So the next thing we see,
Islamophobe.
she's seated right here. Roll the tape a little more. Let's see who's seated on the president's left shoulder, the second position of prominence.
So I just want to go around in circles.
He wants to go around the table here, he
What
says.
everybody's been doing, like, most recently.
Since I met the last year,
We can freeze that right there.
Get a little better.
Get a little better shot. Good. Right now, for those of you driving your car, a dinner is being served in the White House dining room, very exquisite dinner. And the president's talking to a African-American, there he is, right there, it's a better shot. To the president's left, screen right, if you're watching on your television. Who is that, folks?
Marty Bray.
No.
No, that's not.
No. Who is it, Tom? I don't
Marty
recognize.
Bray. Marty Bray.
I know Marty. That's not Marty
That's
Bray.
not Marty.
Marty, he's probably there. No, he's in a back row somewhere.
Yeah.
That is Imam Mohammed Majid,
Oh, the head of ISNA,
the head of the Islamic Society of North America.
which is the head of the snake. I didn't recognize him from that angle. If he's that's Muhammad. Oh wow, he looks different.
Yeah, no, well, he's got a suit on. He doesn't have his not a suit. He's got sort of Islamic garb a
Right.
little bit, but more a Western look.
He's gained some weight. That's what it
He
is.
downplays normally he's in Islamic robes and all of that. But he is
okay.
analogously,
That
if the Muslim Brotherhood can be compared to La Cosa Nostra, he is Al Capone. Okay.
Yeah.
He's Al Capone, Mohammed Majid. He is the head of the largest syndicate, Muslim Brotherhood syndicate in the United States, and ISNA, Islamic Society of North America, was actually funded in 1983 when it got started by the same financier who funded the publication that Abedin works for. So they all keep this stuff in their family. But go back to the picture with Imam Mohammed Majid. All right, that picture right there, President talking to Mohammed Majid, is Imam Mohammed Majid. The normal person is going to look at that and go, oh, look how nice this is. Imam Mohammed Majid is providing for the president specific elements of his foreign policy as it relates to Israel. Mohammed Majid hates Jews, hates Israel. That's a fact. Notwithstanding all the phony baloney interfaith meetings they have. That's a documented fact. And we know for a fact ISNA, the organization the Imam runs, is a Muslim Brotherhood organization. How do we know that?
Because the courts told us.
Who did?
The Department of Justice told us.
The Department of Justice told us.
And also, Judge Solis told us that they're a terrorist organization, and also was held on appeal court that they are a unindicted co-conspirator in the Holy Land Foundation trial.
That would be the Fifth
We also
Circuit
know
Court of
by
Appeals.
evidence in the Holy Land Foundation that they actually fund terrorism to Hamas. They are a terrorist organization. Once again, our president doesn't just give everybody a eloquent address over the radio. He actually sits down right next to them in the White House talking to them, talking to you walk with the terrorists, talk to terrorists, da 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 da.
Well,
that's what he does.
We reference on this show at for 50 minutes past 5 o'clock on the 26th of September. Tom Trento, WNN 1470, TrentoVision.tv. We're talking today. We started the show with our good friend Gene Sweeney over in Sarasota, and we took a look 2 weeks after the controversy in Venice over my speech and some of what Gene said regarding Islam as being the enemy, and I explained that, and we're on record with that. And then we're now launching a little bit of information about our trip, which we'll leave this Sunday. Mark and I go to Israel, go to the front lines, and report back from the Golan Heights, from the border of Hezbollah, from the border of Gaza, from the border of Egypt. We're going into the West Bank. We're going all over the place. And it's a fact-finding, national security fact-finding mission. Frank Gaffney will be with us. Frank and I are leading a small group of folks to get a first-hand look as to what's going on. We're going to attempt, ladies and gentlemen, every day to call in from Israel live, to Skype in. We know it works because we do it all the time with guests. Whether or not we will be able to do it live is dependent upon where we happen to be at that particular time. But we'll have a report every day from the front in Israel. And our argument for today is that Jerusalem is the holy grail for Islam. That dome right there is the Dome of the Rock in the holy city of the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, even though the United States doesn't recognize that at this point. And we're saying that this President Obama, has definitive affiliations with and affinity for Islam. But we're taking it a step further. We're substantiating that with his advisors. And we're showing you visual evidence. 2012 iftar dinner in the White House. He's sitting next to Abedin, who we know has Muslim Brotherhood connections, and Imam Mohammed Majid, who is the head of ISNA. ISNA, Islamic Society of North America. That's him on the right of your screen, those of you who are watching. We reference the Holy Land Foundation trial quite a bit. Brief overview. For many years, even after 9/11, the Holy Land Foundation was a charity based in Richardson, Texas, out of a mosque there, that raised money to provide care and relief for Muslims worldwide. Sound good so far? Muslim charity that if somebody donates money, there's Christian charities and Jewish charities, and they're very good. Muslim charity, you write a $1,000 check to the Holy Land Foundation, and your check goes and buys food and shelter and clothing for Muslims who may be suffering from natural disasters or in war-torn Muslim lands, whatever. But and the United States government recognizes charitable work that goes to extend and support the efforts of humanity as a valuable component of what it means to be an American. Therefore, if you run a charity, the money you take in, the United States says, we're not going to take our cut of that. We want 100% of that money to go help people who have a need. So charities that have 501c3 status do not have to pay state, local, or federal taxes. All of the money can go to serve mankind. So far, so good. Well, the Holy Land Foundation, as the FBI started to just take a look at this, had an octopus configuration of affiliations and charities all over the place in different towns and different cities. So money would go into a charity in New Jersey and it'd be funneled up to Holy Land, and money would come from San Francisco and Holy Land, and receipts going here and there, and it was just a labyrinth, a complex labyrinth.
It was a money funneling laundering operation.
Well, it was funneling a lot of money in, which is fine and they're getting all the people making the donation are getting their tax exempt money to take off of their taxes. Everything's fine so far. Now, what do you do with the money? If you buy food, shelter, and clothing for little kids or families, that's good. But if you buy weapons, if you arm Hamas and enable them to buy missiles, rockets, guns, bombs, suicide belts, and you provide money for when Hamas kills Jews, you provide money to support their families and put up signs all over Gaza honoring the suicide bombers. When the money is used to kill friends of the United States, Jewish people, there's a little problem with that.
You're right.
And it's like a lot of federal law problems. Turns out that the Holy Land Foundation was funneling money to a designated terrorist group, the Hamas, and Hamas was using that money to kill Jews. Okay? So there were two trials. The first one was a mistrial. Second trial was adjudicated, finished in 2008, and over 5 key leaders of the Holy Land Foundation were found guilty, and they are right now in penitentiary, serving from 15 to 60 years, 5 of them. Then in the FBI's very extensive and expansive forensic investigation, they said, you know what, this thing is so big, we had to put over 300 organizations and individuals named as people that we know were absolutely involved in this crime. They are part and parcel. They are supporting Hamas. We know they did it. We have evidence. But at this point, we don't want to indict them. We know they conspired. They plan to do this. They plan to send money to Hamas to kill Jews. But for whatever reasons, and there's a lot of interesting strategic reasons, we don't want to indict them. Go back to Imam Mohammed Majid. Imam Mohammed Majid, 4 years after the Holy Land Foundation trial, put his name on the list as one of the Muslim leaders in America that was involved in funneling money to Hamas to kill Jews.
Unindicted co-conspirator.
He now sits at the left hand of the President of the United States, providing advice and policy.
And the person that sits at the right hand of the President is Abedin.
And Mohammed Majid is an unindicted co-conspirator right now listed by the federal government, but he's honored by the President of the United States.
You know, you would think until this is all cleared up is, you might not want... Tom, when's the last time you had lunch with an unindicted co-conspirator?
It's been
days.
They're
over.
Days.
They come in and out of my life all the time. But geez, oh man.
Well, that's a sad. This is why, folks, we do what we do. This is why we need your help at the United West. This is why we're going to Israel to get firsthand information, and we need to fight this administration and their accommodation, appeasement, and affinity toward not just Muslims. We always make the distinction between a human being and Muslim, many of whom, like Zuhdi Jasser and others, just want to be left alone and be, worship as they may and be good American citizens. We're with you guys 100,000%. Imam Mohammed Majid is my, Mark, everybody I know, our mortal ideological enemy. He is an enemy of the state of the United States of America by his identification as a co-conspirator. Yet the President of the United States sits down and honors him at a Muslim dinner. This is crap. This is absolute crap. You stay tuned to our show. We're going to expose these people more and more and more. But right now, we got to go. The mail's coming in. We'll see you tomorrow. Jumpin' Juma Freaky Friday. Bye, everybody. Take it easy.